Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight we bring you rounds 4, 5, and 6 of iTCR, powered by Result Clothing, coming to you live from the Oulton Park Foster's layout. In the booth with me tonight, I have Mr. Tyler Newitt. Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
I have Miss Stacey Jeffries. Good evening.
Good evening, Clyde.
And on the cameras and doing all the triggery, pokery, jiggery, doobery in the background is Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
So, guys, last time out we saw some absolutely fantastic racing, fast, furious, door banging, some big crashes, some brilliant overtakes. Tyler, what do you think we're going to get from this Oulton Park Foster's circuit?
Fast and furious racing, some door banging, some overtakes. I think about sums it up. Well, the sense you get if you look at the series Discord is that passing is going to be difficult. So take a good look at how qualifying is shaping up, and wouldn't be surprised if that's what you see close to it for the finishing order for race 1.
Yeah, and Stacey, Oulton Park, you must have been there in real life.
I certainly have. It's a really good track. As Tyler said, I'm definitely going to see some door banging tonight. It's not a very wide track, so it's not very forgiving if you make a bit of a mistake. It's not that wide. To be fair, I think it's more set up for bikes maybe. But yeah, it's a really good track. The boys are going to put on some great entertainment tonight for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Well, with both of you, I think overtaking is going to be at a premium. We may see some drivers, shall we say, overtaking into their own hands. But we shall wait and see. Let's have a quick rundown on what happened last time out. So race 1 was a win for Damien Harris. Mark Draper in second with Lee Bowden in third. Damien Harris again got another win in race 2 with Simon Trendle in second and Lee Bowden again in third. And then race 3 with our reverse grid was a win for Sam Blease with Simon Trendle coming home second and Ben Tusting coming home third. So in the standings, the top 5 currently look like Simon Trendle on 263, Lee Bowden 254, Damien Harris 234, Jessica Myers on 216, and Sam Blease on 213. In the team standings, Team Chimera currently lead the way on 485, with Brutally Backwards, as they've been renamed, on 476, and Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing on 357. So that's everybody up to date. Tyler, what do you think of this track? I tend to really enjoy it. As we've already said, overtaking is difficult. Not that I've done much overtaking, but it is a track that if you make a mistake, the slippery grass runoff areas are quite big and can take you quite a while to get back on track. Getting back on track safely can be difficult, and because we know how well this series is going to be nose to tail, you're going to lose a lot of problems if you a lot of positions if you do go off track.
Yeah, I think it's a nice little circuit, and we're running the Foster's layout, which there was some complaining about from the drivers. I don't get that. I really don't feel like the full layout adds all that much, besides a couple of long straights. And I particularly like, as we're on board with Sam Blease at the moment, this section down here is much better in the Foster's layout. You don't have the sharp left-hander, which is in my opinion, now that Spa has been remedied, one of the worst off tracks in iRacing. It's so easy to get a wheel off there. And I was just looking at the incident limit because normally it's not something you'd worry about in these, short 15-minute races, but our teammate Adam Wright had put in some 8 laps in qualifying without getting a lap registered, meaning he was dropping wheels every single lap. And you throw in some slight contact 4Xs in there. It's not out of the question that you might see some drivers having to drive a bit conservatively as they close in on that 17 incident limit.
Yeah, most definitely. So 15-minute qualifying session, followed by race 1, 20 minutes, race 2, 20 minutes, race 3, 20 minutes with a reverse grid thrown in. Currently, the Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing team look like they're working together. Spencer McCarthy sitting on provisional pole with Sam Blee's teammate in second, and Damien Harris in third. Stacey, where do you think the wins are coming from tonight? Do you think this qualifying session is all important, bearing in mind that where the cars finish in race 1 is where they start in race 2?
I would like to talk about it, but unfortunately, due to the connection that I've got, everything is pixelated, so I can't see where everyone is. But I'm just looking for some different winners from last time round, to be honest. That's what I'm looking for tonight.
Yeah, that would certainly be nice. So we had 2 winners in 3 races last time out, and our series winners so far are sitting in second and third place in qualifying with just under 2 minutes to go. The midfield as well, Tyler, that's going to be absolutely packed, isn't it? And nose to tail.
Yeah, you can just look at where the time is in the midfield and see. I mean, you go from Ben Tusting on back, and you're looking at half a second back to Martin Brennan in 17th. Not even half a second. That's near on a quarter of a second. So it's going to be tight for sure. And those reverses are inbound. It's going to be fiercely contested, I think, for those precious final reverse grid positions that set you up for a good start in race numbers 2 and 3. Knowing that the nature of the track is quite difficult. You see a lot of, there's the 2 Alpine Stars geodesic drivers working together. I've seen some of the Bstv boys working together, some of the result cars. There's not a ton of straightaway to really get much benefit from the tow here, but these TCR cars are so tow dependent that you're almost always going to benefit from tailing in behind somebody, and it's no different here in qualifying today.
And just for the viewers at home, we've got 1 penalty to be served tonight, and that is wobbly kneecaps. He has a pit lane start for race 1. He is allowed on track for qualifying to try and get a decent pit stall, but he will be starting from the pit lane. So quali is over. I can't seem to get the grid up for some reason.
Well, I've got it on my screen so I can start the run through. On pole position is Spencer McCarthy for Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing. Second, with a late improvement, I think, is Simon Trendle for Team Chimera. That's a good lap, just 2 100s off of Spencer. Damien Harris for Brutally Backwards is in third. Sam Blees, the other Alpine Stars Geodesic driver, is fourth. Lee Bowden fifth. Ben Tusting in sixth. Jamie Wilson will line up 7th, Chris Shaw in 8th, Carl Hardy 9th. Wobbly Kneecaps, we know, has a pit lane start, but he qualified in 10th. Gary Craig will start 11th, Mark Draper in 12th. Then it's Jessica Myers, Scott Malcolm, David Ayres, Pete Bingham, Martin Brennan, Stefan Goebel, Adam Wright, Duncan Cope, Dan Giudici, Alan Toon, and Andrew Littler.
Oh, thanks for that, Tyler. So, cars are gridding. And there's still a few missing.
Yeah, one of those will be our pit lane starter. The others, Ben Tusting, just got to the grid. We're still waiting on Jess Myers and Stefan
Goebel. There we go. Although the timer will run all the way down because Wobbly Kneecaps is starting from the pits. And we have Jamie Wilson's inset. Lights are about to come on. Here we go. Green, green, green. We're away.
It was a pretty clean break off the line. I know there were some drivers before the series started who were stressed about doing the standing starts and the TCRs, but it seems like everybody's got it figured out. It was pretty, nobody making big losses or improvements.
So there's the fantastic curb cam from Oulton Park. Okay, so Damien Harris has got up 2 places from the start. Got past Spencer McCarthy and Simon Trendle. Although Spencer McCarthy is putting him under a lot of pressure here.
Simon Trendle also under fire from Sam Blees, but Sam has the wrong line into turn number 1.
Yeah, 1 lap in the books.
He did well to hang around the outside there, though.
He did, and he's got the inside this time.
Yeah. A well-executed overtake there.
Yeah, he had to work for it. I have Mr. Bingham in the pits.
Oh, no.
Be currently reading his excuses manual. What did he do? He's on that grass. Yeah. Boom. And the car was gone. So great start from Pete.
They'll be hoping for the 23 car reverse.
Adam Wright is the biggest mover so far, up 5 places from the start.
Yeah, and with Pete's trouble, he's right in behind Gary for the lead of the Bstv green drivers. This battle hasn't quieted down at all.
No, although they, I don't know if they're dropping Sam or whether that gap opened up while Sam was trying to get past Simon Trendle. Oh, I think that was Gary Craig sideways there.
Yeah, he just made the move on Scott Malcolm and somehow kept it under him. And actually helped Adam Wright get through Scott as well.
Bit of a code brown there for Gary. He's now getting a push from Adam.
Some inadvertent team tactics there. Oh, Adam.
I think that was a nudge from Scott. Yeah, twice.
Well, that's it. That one certainly was. I don't know about the first one, but it was a good save by Adam, who you expect Gary, who drives these cars on a regular basis, to be able to save the big moments like that, but Adam does not typically drive these cars, so that was a solid effort from him to keep it under control.
Everybody seems to be going sideways tonight.
Like the drifting championship tonight, didn't you know?
That's what it seems like, doesn't it?
Fastest lap of the race from Damian Harris out front. Only
Yeah,
driver in 101 so far.
I think he's just, for now, just broken the challenge from Spencer McCarthy.
Simon Trendle wants to get back through on Sam Blees. Ooh, Sam's blinking a bit.
Jess Myers, Carl Hardy, and Mark Draper all involved in this battle. Well, I really thought Jess had broke herself there, but she did that really well. Great pass.
Yeah, Carl had quite a solid qualifying effort up in ninth, and mostly hanging on just down the one spot to Jess at this point.
And wobbly kneecaps after his pit lane start. He's obviously passed Pete Bingham, who died a horrible death. And he's got past Andrew Littler and Alan Toon. Just a reminder to everybody, there are no fast repairs. So whatever damage Pete has got, he's having to repair.
It's a solid pack from about third back to, I think, eighth. Jamie Wilson, the last car in that train, but it seems like Sam Blees is a bit of a cork in the bottle, though they're really not losing the leaders all that quickly. So even if Sam is holding this group up, he's not slowing them down tremendously off what their normal pace would be.
Yeah, the front two are starting to disappear, aren't they?
Yeah, and not in the same way Sam is.
No, Sam's doing a Bingham.
Yeah, and it can't be comfortable for Simon in there to try and execute a pass on a driver whose connection is, oh dear.
Oh,
I think Simon broke on the grass there, and that's
yeah,
not something you want to be doing.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any contact there.
He didn't look like it. He was just, I think, trying to give Sam room to get back on track from his moment there, and gave him a little too much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely, yeah, breaking on the grass. Evening 2, Bill Switzer, Marco Lewert on the chat. Also Rob Venn. Glad you guys can be with us.
Pete's not here, so you can't quiz him on Rob's username in the YouTube chat.
And just in case
he
you
could be here because
guys,
he's not driving either.
Yeah, just in case the guys on the chat are wondering where is Pete Bingham, lap 1 death. There he is. So this is a good little train, isn't it? From Sam Blees down to Jamie Wilson. Another 4-car battle there, so Martin Brennan there. I think Spencer's got his act together and got back up there with Damian Harris.
Yeah, I don't know that gap was ever more than, a little over half a second or so. It's fluctuated a bit, but clearly both of them on relatively even pace up front.
This pack is where the action is at the moment. Jess Myers has managed to pull away from Carl Hardy and Mark Draper a bit.
And that is wobbly through on Martin. just about at the halfway point of this race. With laps just over a minute, it's probably going to be a 19-lap race. Assuming iRacing doesn't tick over the extra lap.
Yeah, Spencer McCarthy has now got the fastest lap of the race with a 1:01.72.
And Giudici is through on Duncan Cope for 17th. I know Dan was worried he was going to miss the start of the race, so good he got here in time. I think he set a qualifying lap too.
Yeah, and Dan is one of the unsung heroes in this country, working for the NHS. Oh, that's Wobbly and Duncan. Wobbly's had a wobble.
He's just run into him there. Obviously, Wobbly qualified 10th, so he knows he has the pace to move forward, and it can't be fun stuck in behind people for too long. But you know, the track carries you out wide there, so that gap I think was always going to close on Wobbly.
Yeah, over enthusiastic is the nicest way I could put it.
Yep.
And as Rob has just said on the chat, Wobbly kneecapped him.
This is from the front of Ben Tusting, getting a taste of Lee Bowden's exhaust.
Yeah, somebody needs to chop that tree down.
Trading of places between the Chimera drivers there, I think. That was Trendle through on Wilson.
Yeah, those guys are doing well, aren't they? They're 5th, 7th and 8th at the moment.
Yeah, the only trouble is Simon Trendle was doing much better before his off-track excursion.
Oh, 12 minutes down, 8 to go. And don't forget, folks at home, the races come fast and furious. There isn't a lot of time between races.
Definitely seems like you want to get your places made up on the start as much as you can, because although we have seen people moving forward, mostly it's been capitalizing on mistakes, as Adam Wright's just gotten by Stefan Goebel. Not sure if that was a mistake or pass on track, but generally it seems like those spots made up at the start have stuck for the most part, besides the people who have had off-track moments. That looks like a pass from Adam on Stefan. Nope. Stefan goes wide, and through goes Adam.
I just had a chuckle there because I don't know if you've seen, Tyler, but Sam has sent us a no tree cam. I'm not going to try and mess with it for this race.
No, save that for the next one.
I'm already lumber, you know. I'm chopping trees while broadcasting at the same time. I've got the power. No, in fact, the broadcast saw that I was editing the camera because that tree was all in the way.
Just to answer Jan van Gorp, who says, is there really any overtaking chances other than the main straight on this track? You make your own chances. You know, we've seen a couple of overtakes where people have been set up, forced into defence where they don't want to be. But the idea of the series is to run on these tight and twisty tracks and let the drivers do the talking.
Well, and the other thing too is even if there's only a couple of overtaking places around the track, it's a minute lap, so you're gonna hit those overtaking points every minute or so. So there's no there's no shortage of opportunities to make something happen, as you said, Clyde, even if it's just pressuring the car in front of you into a mistake, as Gary Craig tries it around the outside of Mark Draper. Oh, once again.
Yeah.
Oh. That was Ben staying into the back of Lee Bowden as they came downhill. I don't know if Lee checked up, seeing that Sam was sideways in front of them, but just kind of got speared off the nose of Ben Tusting there. Don't think Lee is particularly happy about that.
Is Lee back out at all, is he, or?
He's still sitting there on the timing screen, on my timing screen at least. So Lee was all over the back of Sam Blease. Sam broke on the grass again. Yeah, and Lee checked up a bit, and Ben came barreling in, not realizing, I think, that Lee was off the gas, and just barely got his nose alongside.
We've seen Sam sideways on that turn on a number of occasions.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother him. He can just stick the throttle in and gather it back up in these front-wheel drive cars, but I don't imagine it's the fastest way around.
So Peter's done his repairs. He's back on track.
Car looks a little worse for wear, but, you know.
Looks quite clean for a Pete car.
Give him a lap. Ooh, Chimera on Chimera. This is the recovering Simon Trendle on Ben Tusting.
And that's Chris Shaw just in behind the pair of them.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris would love the opportunity to jump up another spot or two. Chris hasn't really been making passes on track, but as people have filtered out of this front group, he's steadily moved his way forward and is knocking on the door of a top 5 now. Going to be tough dealing with the 3 team cars around him, though.
Don't even want to be in that sandwich.
Yeah, bit of a Chimera sandwich, isn't it? So.
Now, I guess the question is Spencer waiting, or is he giving it everything and Damien is just as quick?
Yeah. We know both of these guys are rapid. Even in this short 20-minute race, they're 5.5 seconds ahead of Sam Bleased in third.
Yeah, and certainly part of that will come from that second pack battling a little bit. Oh, just showing his nose is Spencer McCarthy there. But they're definitely able to run those super quick laps a little more consistently than the drivers in the pack behind them.
Lee Bowden is now in the pits.
Yeah, I think everybody probably in that top group is capable of setting those, blistering lap times, but it's just a matter of consistency. And right now, Damien and Spencer are, by a considerable margin, the most consistent drivers on the track.
Yeah, and I think these guys are now on the penultimate lap. They will. I think they'll get round for one more, and that's it. Is that sorry, I was wrong again there, Sam.
Broadcast heard nothing, so nothing happened.
I would have guessed they picked up the white flag, given.
I think they crossed the line just before.
Yeah, I think it was before. So that's the. They will get it now. Oh, that's spicy.
Yes,
that could be a last lap maneuver, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I think they'll come to pick it up now. It is just out of that first corner, the start-finish line. There is the white flag. Spencer shows his nose around the outside once again. I think he knows the best place to overtake is that kind of final braking zone. But, ooh, that's not going to help. That's a pretty sizable gap. Probably the biggest gap that Damien has had all race at this point.
For sure, still in that sandwich.
Yeah, I think you might be enjoying yourself in there.
Damien gave an apology there to Spencer. For not giving him enough room. I don't think Damien did anything wrong there.
No, he just had a little wiggle, didn't he? That was it.
Yeah.
So Damien Harris comes home to win race 1 with Spencer McCarthy in second. Sam Blease takes third with Simon Trendle fourth and Ben Tusting in fifth.
And on the last corner, Gary Craig jumps Carl Hardy. Where did that come? I didn't even see Gary get by Mark Draper. I don't know. Gary made some positions in those last couple of laps. This is wobbly on Martin. I think it's going to be Martin who secures it. Oh, and then runs into Gary after the line.
Let's hope that didn't push anybody over the incident limit. There is Sir Alan Toon, guest driver tonight. So if my SDK can be trusted, Chris Shaw was 6th, Jamie Wilson 7th, Jess Myers 8th, Gary Craig 9th, and Carl Hardy in 10th. And as you should know by now, we just don't have the time to go through the grid.
But it should look awfully familiar if you saw the results from race number 1.
And I've had cake delivered. So, race 2 grid is set by finishing order from race 1. So, Damien Harris goes off from pole, followed by Spencer McCarthy, Sam Blease, Simon Trendle, Ben Tusting, Chris Shaw, Jamie Wilson, Jess Myers, Gary Craig, and Carl Hardy round out your top 10. Mark Draper is in 11th, David Ayres, Scott Malcolm, Adam Wright, Stefan Goebel, Dan Guidici, Martin Brennan, Wobbly Kneecaps, Duncan Cope, Alan Toon, Andrew Littler, Lee Bowden, and rounding out your field is Pete Bingham.
Still a number of cars not on the grid yet, including quite a few of the front runners. I know it's a strategy in some of the endurance races to save that last little bit of fuel, but that shouldn't be a factor here.
Well, we do extend the gridding time manually to 2 minutes.
Yeah, now everybody's starting to filter in.
And we get ready to go green again. Lights are coming on.
Sam Blee's still blinking there on the grid.
And we're green. Here we go again. Will it be as clean as race 1? About 11 wide at the back there. So this time I think Spencer McCarthy has got the jump on Damien Harris.
Does seem that way. And Chris Shaw has jumped all of the Chimera cars up into 4th. Jess Myers and Gary Craig also picking up spots on the start. Ben Tusting was the big loser. He's down 4 spots from where he started.
Ooh.
Wait, mentioned. Clyde, what you got?
Cake.
Yeah.
Toffee and pecan. No, that's a lie. It's toffee and pistachio.
As we saw in the last race, things settling to single file rather quickly, towards the front at least. Simon Trendle is right on the rear bumper of Chris Shaw. That was wobbly going by Dan Giudici, I think, for 15th.
Yeah, Ben Tustin has lost 4 now.
Yeah, that was all right at the start. He had a, don't know if he spun the tires or something, but was not a good start for Ben. That's Lee Bowden looking for a move on Dan. Ooh, that was a nice little crossover move for Lee to get alongside Dan. If he can hang it around the outside, he'll be in good position here. Oh, but Dan had a wiggle.
I think Dan had an oversteer moment then, didn't he? Turning in.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he had to collect it into Lee Bowden. We've got to replay what happened to Spencer. Sideways moment. And Damien up the inside for the lead. Oh, a little contact too.
Yeah, took advantage of that. Simon Trendle getting interested in Chris Shaw's rear end.
Oh, that was Martin and Dan Giudici again coming together. Dan's recovered in front. He'll have to serve a slowdown for sure. And Lee Bowden trying to capitalize on that. We'll get at least one spot here. Ooh, little side-to-side contact there.
I can hear shouting from upstairs. Sounds like someone's got a slowdown.
Well, and that was Stefan into Martin, and Martin's into the wall there. Not really a corner you want to go through too wide, but they tried to go 2x2 through there.
Clyde, I think the swear jar's getting full by the second.
You're going to be a rich lady one day.
Very.
A nice view of the internals of Damien Harris's Audi.
So unbelievably, Pete Bingham is still going.
He hasn't made much ground, though, in fairness. Not sure what happened to Andrew Littler. He's a lap or two off of the pace at this point.
Yeah, not sure missed that. Jan on the chat is saying that he would have cracked under the pressure that McCarthy put on Harris all race long in race 1. Well, here we are again.
I'm pretty sure most of us would have cracked under the pressure. That was some intense battling between the two of them. Another look at Jamie Wilson's inset picture there. Nice view of the 5 cars in front of him, which are all, ooh! Damien is wide, he hangs on to it, unlike Pete. I don't think, it was hard to tell, but it didn't look like Spencer, you know, pushed him off. It was just...
No, I don't think he did.
I think Damien got offline as Spencer went up the inside and carried it wide.
And we've just had a message that Sam is trying to sort out his internet. Sam believes that is. Hopefully not whilst he's driving.
Yeah, there was definitely a car width there, so I think Damien was just a little offline and trying to carry the speed, but he has lost the lead now with Spencer McCarthy back into first.
So Simon Trendle has got past Chris Shaw there, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, didn't see that one happen, but he's up into 4th place now, chasing down Sam Blees. Some apology to Jess Myers. I think it might have been Gary.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Both still going, so not sure what that was about. Ben Tusting having a look on Gary.
Yeah, he'll get that done.
Yep, good move there. Oh, there is some damage to the front of Gary's car, so that'll be what the apology was about, I'd imagine. Oh, and you can see, similarly, the rear bumper of Jess Myers is bent up quite a bit.
Must have been a fairly big bump, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Hasn't cost them much in the way of time. They're still right with this this leading pack. Hasn't let Ben Tusting get away, though. He's still right there in line, as we see. That is the other Chimera car, Simon Trendle, looking for a move on Sam Blees.
And again, I know it's not much, but visually, there's a gap up front now.
Yeah, certainly is. And once again, it feels like Sam is the one kind of holding up the pack, but there's just not much anyone can really do about it. Ben looks to the inside of Jess Myers. Not quite job done yet. Gary might have a look back here.
Yeah, and Carl Hardy's waiting in the wings.
There goes Gary, taking advantage of Ben having to slow up there. Good move by Gary. At the moment, that group is all within the reverse range, so don't want to throw something like that away with a sketchy move at this point.
Result, boys. Carl Hardy's doing really well this week.
He's certainly got some pace, hasn't he, this week?
Yeah, he's been right around 10th place in qualifying in race 1 and in race 2, which is very solid pace given who's up in front of him. So doing a very solid job through the entirety of the meeting is Carl.
And Marco Lawert is asking if anybody knows if there's a second TCR car coming to iRacing. I wish there was.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
No, I've not heard anything. Although if they do it, I hope they do it like they've done with the V8s, where they're identical apart from the looks.
Yeah, I think that might be tough to do. They're more like the they're more sports car like, not unlike the GT4s, especially with some of the newer TCRs are well, there's the mix of sedans and hatchbacks. I think the class is just a little too varied to really do it like with the V8s, but we'll see. Oh, that's a move from Chris on Sam, so Sam Blease has dropped 2 spots in the last lap.
Yeah, Gary putting pressure on Jess again.
Just takes the defensive line, so Gary tries it around the outside. Ooh, he carried a little too much speed there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of grip round there either.
No, the track really falls away on you. He did well to keep it on the racing surface, and that might let him keep the position ahead of Ben Tusting. Oh, but he's going wide again into turn 1.
The wobbly kneecaps is up 3 places to 15th.
Yeah, he's gonna. Ooh, little nudge there with Scott Malcolm, but they both keep on going. He's gonna need to do a little bit more than that if he's wanting to capitalize on the reverse grid, but he is making good forward progress.
Adam Wright not making as much progress this time.
No, he is up 1 spot from where he started, but not really climbing like some of the other drivers.
So 5 minutes to go.
Now this is an important battle here. David Ayres, Mark Draper, Adam Wright. Only 2 of these drivers are going to make the reverse as it stands. Adam wants to be one of them. Oh!
Didn't quite see what happened there.
I'm not sure Adam did anything wrong there. I'd have to see another angle, but it looked like Mark essentially just turned himself off of Adam's front bumper. Adam was well alongside here. Yeah, it looked like Mark was essentially trying to clear Adam through the left-hander to set up the right-hander, but he wasn't clear and carried a lot of speed out to the right.
Yeah, he certainly did drift out, didn't he?
Yeah. That'll be a tough break for Mark, though, having to come from the back in race number 3.
Well, we know he's got speed. Okay, 3 minutes left.
Definitely looked calmer than last time out, isn't it?
It certainly is. But we've still got race 3 to go.
I was going to say it's not over yet, but certainly it does seem a lot calmer than last time.
Things just seem a little bit more spread out. There's none of the really big packs, it seems, just a few smaller ones at this point in the race. Ooh, Gary's sending it around the outside again. Keeps it on track, but not able to hang it around to set himself up for the front straight. Ooh. That was a cheeky little move over from Gary on Ben Tusting, who was right there.
Yeah, Gary's in that tricky place, isn't he, where he wants to attack, but he's also got to defend.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't even realize that that Ben was right up in there behind him when he cut back over, but it's not something you want to be making a habit of, because eventually the person behind is going to get tired and you're going to find yourself in the wall most likely.
Okay, leaders again, starting the penultimate lap. Spencer McCarthy's got himself a nearly 2-second lead up the front in race 2.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what race 1 would have looked like if he was able to make the move stick on Damian Harris. He seems to have a little bit of pace in hand right now, as we see this is Adam Wright and David Ayres. So this is back to only 2 of these cars are going to make the reverse grid here between David, Adam, and Wobbly.
Okay, leader's about to get the white flag.
Gary's going to try the same move once again on the brakes. He's made it stick a little better this time, but he's still...
He just can't get the traction, can he?
No, and now Ben Tusting has a run to the inside.
Yeah, and he's going to get this done, I think.
Gary takes the late apex, to try and cross him over. There's a little bit of contact there. That is Adam on David. Not able to make that stick.
Chris Shaw and Sam Blees going at it. Chris goes defensive. Here's your race 2 winner, Spencer McCarthy for Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing. Damien Harris comes home second.
Chris Shaw hangs on for 4th ahead of Sam Blees.
Simon Trendle third. Ooh,
that's probably getting Adam for 12th place, which is going to be pole for race number 3. So Adam's thrown away a race 3 pole in the final corner.
Yeah, and Wobbly obviously proving how you can turn your fortunes around. Pit lane start in race 1, pole position with the reverse grid in race 3.
Pete recovers to 18th.
So we just wait on Sir Alan Toon. So your race 2 results will be with us very, very shortly. So Spencer McCarthy takes home the win. Damien Harris second, Simon Trendle third, Chris Shaw fourth, Sam Blees fifth, Jamie Wilson sixth, Jess Myers seventh, Ben Tustin eighth, Gary Craig ninth, and Carl Hardy in 10th. Okay, so the guys do get a 5-minute warm-up before the race 3. So David Ayres came home 11th, Adam Wright in 12th, Scott Malcolm 13th, Lee Bowden 14th, Stefan Goebel 15th, Dan Guidici 16th, Pete Bingham 17th, Duncan Hope in 18th.
So Clyde was Wobbly over the incident limit?
Good question. Good question. It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? It's dropped him down to 19th.
Yeah, the last car on the lead lap. Or second to last, so that'll be... Well, if you look at where Adam finished... That's about a 30-second penalty.
Yeah. And Alan Toon finished 20th, Mark Draper 21st, Andrew Littler 22nd, Martin Brennan 23rd. Sam Blees is currently restarting his PC and everything else to try and get his connection more stable. But yes, that means despite throwing away the race 3 pole position there, Adam Wright has got it back.
Yeah, some good fortune there for Adam after some bad luck in the final corner, but he'll be starting up front for race number 3.
So, what do you think so far, Stacey? Just as good as last time out?
No, it's not actually. I expected more crashing.
Yeah, I think. Are you eating?
Mouthful of mini cheddars.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad there isn't as much crashing, to be fair. And I'm glad these drivers are having to work for the overtakes.
100%. This is what we were saying at the beginning, because this track is much tighter than other tracks out there. Like I was saying, I think it's more orientated around bikes than cars. So yeah, it's making it a lot more difficult for everybody to make those manoeuvres.
Yeah, and next time out, in 2 weeks' time, we go to a weird and wonderful track that quite possibly none of these drivers have driven before. And that is the Phoenix Road Course. That's going to be interesting, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm hopeful I'm back to driving by that point, because I think I might have an advantage in that I have driven that course before. It's actually, anyone who's driven the iRacing Phoenix Rallycross circuit has driven most of the road course, because they share a lot of the same track segments. But yeah, it's an interesting little road course, especially in these cars. There's not a ton to it, and it's not unlike kind of the modern F1 circuits in a way, where it's basically just lines on pavement for a good portion of the track. So it'll definitely be interesting. I think we're going to see some slowdowns being served from people inadvertently going over or being forced over track limits next week.
Yeah, I think so. So Sam Blees has restarted his butt plug, home plug. Can we get on Sam? Sam? Is he on track? Oh no, we're about to start gridding. Means I've got to do something. Wow. Okay, so here is your grid for race 3. Adam Wright goes off on pole, David Ayres second, Carl Hardy third, Gary Craig fourth, Ben Tusting fifth, Jess Myers sixth, Jamie Wilson 7th, Sam Blees 8th, Chris Shaw 9th, Simon Trendle in 10th, Damien Harris in 11th, and Spencer McCarthy in 12th. Followed by Scott Malcolm in 13th, Lee Bowden 14th, Stefan Goebel 15th, then Dan Guidici, Pete Bingham, Duncan Hope, Wobbly Kneecaps, Alan Toon, Mark Draper, Andrew Littler, and Martin Brennan. So this is normally where the action's at, guys. Still a few cars to grid,
including our pole sitter.
And there he is. 2 to go. 1 to go. We're just waiting on Jess. Spend my whole life waiting for women for some reason. And there she is. So let's wait for the lights. Jamie Wilson's inset cam again for this start.
Looks like he's looking for the birds. Just saying.
Lights are coming on. And we're green for race 3. Oh, terrible start there for David Ayres.
Several of the Chimera drivers as well did not get off the line well at all. Ben Tusting and I think Simon Trendle also lost some spots there off the line. Keep your eye on Spencer McCarthy and Damian Harris there. See if they can work their way forward here. They haven't yet.
there's the big one.
And Spencer McCarthy was involved in that and potentially at the very heart of that.
Yeah, Mark Draper, Spencer McCarthy, Dan Guidici, and Pete Bingham.
It was a little netcode nudge from Damien back to Spencer, and Spencer's just trying to keep it out of the way, but unfortunately, without his left front wheel, that was a difficult task, and a number of cars collected.
Yeah, I think Pete Bingham had 3 wheels on his wagon there.
On board with Dan here.
You could change Dan's name to Gucci, because I can't say it.
Yeah, damage there.
That's a lot collected, yeah.
One of the result cars as well. Is that Martin or?
I think that's Martin.
Yeah,
he's
Martin,
in the pits. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard from upstairs. Yeah.
Pete had a big ride there, including his tire forcefully ejecting itself from his car.
Simon Trendle's in the pits. Wobbly Kneecaps is in the pits.
Oh, that was Sam Blees off the track, and Chris Shaw up a spot. Out front, though, it's the same as it was at the start, or from the first few corners. Adam Wright from Carl Hardy from Gary Craig.
Fabian Harris is now in the pits as well. A number of cars picking up damage. Adam Wright's trying to put as much distance as he possibly can between him and the chasing pack.
He's doing a darn good job of it too. And when you figure on, the 2 quickest cars in this race are out of this race, he might just be able to stretch it big enough that he can hold on to this. I think the big threats at the moment are probably Ben Tusting. He's been quick all day. Chris Shaw just now moving up to 7th on Jamie Wilson. He'll be looking to move forward.
Yeah, and I'd throw Gary Craig and Jess Myers into that mix as well.
Yeah, well, they were kind of in that secondary pack that was, keeping with the front pack for most of the race, but didn't quite seem to have the pace that the leading group did. So I'm wondering if they'll be able to, because Adam was not far off that group either. So I'm wondering if really there's that much more pace in the Gary Craig, Jess Myers, Carl Hardy group than there is with Adam out front.
Well, I think Carl Hardy's pegged him back a little bit on that, just on the visual gap.
Yeah, it helped to not be under pressure from Gary Craig for as much of the lap for Carl, I think. Oh, that's Chris Shaw and David Ayres getting together, and Damian Harris a lap down was spinning in the background.
Yeah, they sorted it out. They lost, so Chris lost some positions anyway.
It's another one of the key challengers gone for Adam Wright, which he'll be happy about, I'm sure. And Chris is damaged. He'll be out of this one.
Pit lane starting to look like a junkyard.
Was there further contact?
Oh, there was, yes.
A hip check from Stefan Goebel.
Yeah, that's not got everything pointing in the right direction, has it? But yeah.
Didn't mean carnage.
Almost seems like more cars on pit lane than on track at the moment. This is Ben Tusting on Gary Craig. Gary hangs it around the outside and holds on for now.
Yeah, Jess Myers has a look. we have got drivers in the interview room, but they're going to have to wait till the end of the race. So Jess is putting Ben Tustin under a lot of pressure here. That's Lee Bowden on David Ayres. Got Malcolm trying to pick up a few scraps there as well.
Ooh, little side-to-side contact there between Lee Bowden and David Ayres. Lee will try and... Oh, that was some more net code there.
I don't even think they touched. I thought he had a lot of...
Oh, no. There was half a car length between David and Lee there. I mean, that was...
I thought it was entry oversteer.
There was no, it was definitely... Lee's car took off like he was hit.
Yeah, definitely.
There was definitely contact the first time. Lee just desperately trying to keep it out of the tire bundle, but couldn't quite do it.
And for those of you that don't know, those tire bundles are like concrete.
Not a good night for Lee Bowden. He has not had fun, I don't think, this evening.
So it's on up the front now.
Yeah, Carl has really reeled in Adam here. But catching and passing are different things altogether, as we know.
Yeah, I think any one of these five, and then throw into the mix Sam, Blees and Jamie Wilson as well. "12 minutes to go."
Yeah, if Adam isn't too slow here, it might benefit Carl just to sit in line a little bit and see if they can't try and get the others behind them battling and stretch a gap maybe, just to allow for... You open yourself up to attack so much by trying to make a move happen as Gary goes to the outside of Carl here.
Yeah, and that's what Adam wants to see. Oh, that was a big check up there by Ben Tustin.
Well, and good awareness there as Gary got out of shape over the curb, but it's opened him up to attack from Jess Myers here. And that's brought Sam Blees and Jamie Wilson right up to this pack.
Adam Wright is praying that Gary can get back onto Carl, put him under pressure again.
Gary can stay way back. You can stay where he is.
And Adam and Gary will be talking to each other for sure.
Just hoping Carl can keep it together for long enough.
Well, yeah, we said, didn't we? You know, Carl has shown fantastic pace around here. He doesn't always have the best of luck. But pace-wise, he's definitely up there.
Ooh, wheel on the grass there from Jess Myers. That's brought her into the clutches of Sam Blees and Jamie Wilson. Ooh, Carl had a look there. I think as much as Carl might like to wait, he knows Gary is on a charge here.
And I think Gary might have got it done there. Yep.
On the crossover, I think there was a little more contact or maybe some contact with a bit of netcode space in between the two of them, but Gary is through.
Bit of wheel to wheel, wasn't it?
Yep. I think Gary will be happy to have a car between himself and Ben testing as well. Not that Carl is a slouch by any means, but...
Now, does Gary play the good teammate? Or does he want this win? I'm guessing he wants the win.
I would put my money on that as well. We're past the halfway point of this race now, so things starting to heat up as we enter the second half. Oh, car was wide there. Oh, no.
That is not what I wanted to see.
And unfortunately, there, yeah, Carl was a passenger. Ben was wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. I think Ben saw Carl start to go wide and went to make the move, but unfortunately Carl wasn't able to hang on to it off track.
And Jess Myers says, thank you very much. I'm now on the podium.
Yep. And Ben has reset to the pit lane, unfortunately, so...
Yeah, and the two green machines have got the biggest gap that they've had so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure... coming into today, you would have expected Team Green to be the ones out front, especially with the pace that Wobbly and Chris Shaw were showing for Team Pink. But they've done an excellent job. Have Gary and Adam so far, and Pete, you know, he tried.
He turned up, didn't he?
He did. He turned at least a couple of laps.
Yeah. You know what they say, it's not the winning, it's the taking part. And whoever came up with that saying is an absolute knobhead.
I'm pretty sure it was Pete.
Yes, Myers hasn't finished with these two yet. 6 minutes to go. She was quicker than both of them on the last lap. Gary's having a look. Gary's going through.
Yeah, I think Adam knew that was coming. He's coming back, though. Gary really sent it into turn one there.
He does every lap. He's using all of the track and some.
Well, he's got incidents to spare, so why not, you know?
Quarter of the race to go.
And Adam's now in that spot where he has to be looking forward and backwards. Jess Myers is right there on the back of him.
And Belize still blinking in and out.
Wobbly has said in the chat that regarding his penalty in race 2, he thought he was home free, but he got the 17th incident in the last corner while overtaking Adam. So,
ooh, not good for Wobbly.
No.
Although he was out early in this race, he'll probably be drunk by now.
Are we assuming he wasn't during the race?
Well, yeah, there is that, yeah.
Gary's opened up just a little bit of a gap now.
Yeah, just under 3 minutes to go.
This pack isn't really as tightly bunched as we've seen some of the others so far today. Jamie Wilson and Sam Blease just don't seem like they can quite keep that gap closed between themselves and the top 3.
They are catching them very slowly, but with only 2.5 minutes to go, it's nowhere near quick enough.
Yeah, and Carl has managed to hang on to 6th place despite his spin. But he is 7 seconds back from this lead group. And Adam is closed back in. Don't know if Gary is pacing it a little bit, but that gap has shrunk once again. Don't know that Adam's out of this one yet. As I'm sure you'll remind everyone, Clyde, we all know that teammates coming together is punishable by death in Bstv Esports, so
Most definitely.
Adam will have to be very careful here, but he's not letting Gary get away.
So I think these guys and girls will get the white flag next time round. They just got across the line. Got Malcolm there and David Ayres. Or to give him his bill name, David Evers.
Never know where that V comes from, but it is his name, of course.
I was just going to say, these top 3 look fairly settled, and then Jess Myers was really late on the brakes.
Yep. But none of them seem to have a pace advantage over the other that'll allow a pass without a mistake, I would say. They really seem like they're pretty evenly matched, the top 3. Sam Blease is trying to make something happen on Jamie Wilson.
Yeah, he's even going full Klingon. Cloaking device active. Surely Gary Craig has got this one in the bag now.
I think so, barring Adam with a mega send on the brakes here into the final corner.
So Gary Craig comes home winner in race 3 with Adam Wright second, Jess Myers third. Great result for all of those.
Yeah, and a Bstv Sports Green 1-2.
Yeah, they've obviously got a weak link in the team. Still like that council paint.
It is a sharp one. Now, in fairness, Pete is actually running out on track as opposed to 3 cars ahead of him in the standings. There he is. There's a big slide for Pete. Celebrating finishing, I guess.
Okay, so some fantastic racing tonight. And sort of the drivers there just saying that it was a lot cleaner than they thought it was going to be. So your full result for race 3 is Gary Craig takes home the win, Adam Wright second, Jess Myers rounds out the podium. Jamie Wilson came home 4th. Then Sam Blees, Carl Hardy, David Ayres, Scott Malcolm, Stefan Goebel, Duncan Cope rounds out your top 10. Great result for Sir Alan Toon in 11th, Andrew Littler 12th, Damien Harris came home 13th, Ben Tusting 14th, Dan Guidici 15th, Lee Bowden in 16th, Chris Shaw 17th, Pete Bingham in 18th. I think we've classified wobbly kneecaps in 19th. Simon Trendle in 20th. Mark Draper. Spencer McCarthy 21st. Martin Brennan 22nd. Mark Draper 23rd. So that is that done. Let me get the results up and let's have a look at who wants to come in for an interview. So, Tyler, shall we start off with you and let's bring in our race 2 winner, Spencer McCarthy.
Hello, Spencer. Yeah, sorry to keep you waiting, but did want to keep an eye on the action there. It was
race.
What was that?
It was a busy race.
It certainly was. Yeah. Unfortunately for you, it got a bit too busy, a bit too quickly there in race number 3. But let's talk about the first 2 races first, because they were quite exciting and a little bit better results for you. Race number 1 kept the pressure on Damien all the way through. Was there a pass brewing at any point, or was it just a matter of keeping up?
It's very hard to overtake it at this circuit, even on the full international configuration. But yeah, Damien's a canny guy and he's a good driver. So really, for me, I got pole, which obviously you get a few extra points for. So and then I kind of like settled into trying to get fastest lap. And then for me, that was kind of I got a good points haul. So I was only really going to go for something if he made a mistake or there was something that was quite obvious. And then race 2 came along, which I then threw away. It seems like starting on pole position, maybe slightly uphill, you get a slight, bit of extra wheel spin on the pole position spot. But yeah, I managed to get the jump on him on race 2, and then threw it away. And then he threw it away by making a mistake as well. So race 2 was a bit more of it was a good race because a bit more heat kind of the track, and tyres were a bit more squirmy. Race 1 was one of those kind of get your head down and just gun it and get to the end.
It's an interesting conspiracy about the starting grid, but certainly it was a good start in race 2 for you. And as you said, a pretty impressive move. We started to see people making those moves. I think yours was into that downhill right-hander I don't know the name of as well. But we saw quite a few people making those moves happen, and you certainly did a good job there. Race 3, not as you had hoped, obviously. I don't know if you've had the chance to look back on it, but any thoughts on the incident there?
One of those things. I mean, it was tight, as we knew it was going to be on race 3. Managed to hold the outside, go around Foster's. And then I thought I'd given enough room, but in looking at the replay, I think I probably squeezed Damon a little bit. I think he had a slight overlap. He probably wasn't going to get anywhere with that overlap, because obviously the rest of the track is, or that next section, he'll be on the outside for. So I don't know. I thought we could maybe try and go into a line, but it was fine. A bit of net code. Car flicked out, as iRacing does. And once I was on the grass, I was off the power, trying to, braking's the wrong thing to do because you just go straight on into the barriers. So I was just off the power, trying to get the car turned and gradually get back to the track again. But yeah, once I sideswiped those barriers, wheel fell off, and then unfortunately, I was trying to keep it to the left as I got on the track, but with one wheel missing, it just speared me to the right and in the way of those other cars, which I'm obviously a bit kind of upset about. That kind of ruined their race as well, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly tell you were trying to keep it as far away from everybody as you could, and then once you were on track, it certainly looked like you were trying to just keep it straight so people could go around you. But
yeah, bucking Bronco, absolutely.
Yeah, there's. I think anyone who's driven any of the cars with the new tire model knows what it's like to drive on 3 wheels. At some point, it's pretty tough. But you did you made a valiant attempt. Just a little
unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, still probably a pretty solid points day. I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously, but 2 solid showings in race 1 and 2, plus the pole, as you mentioned. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Teammate Sam, he did really well for the whole round, and he made some tweaks to the setup, which were really good as well. So that kind of gave us that extra little 10th as well. So yeah, shout out to him. Great stuff. Yeah, that's about it really.
Very good. Well, congratulations on your win and your podium, and we will see you next time, Spencer McCarthy.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so now I'm going to drag in our race 3 winner, Gary Craig. Welcome to the booth.
Thank you. Good evening, guys.
Good evening. So, couple of top 10s, I think a couple of 9th places, if memory serves correct.
Yep.
And then a win in race 3. So let's talk about the car and the track first. We see you sideways a couple of times. We see you hanging it all out round turn 1. Was that a difficult track to get to grips with in these cars?
No, it's fine. It's just when the rear tyres are a bit cool and you're pushing it at the start, it's quite easy for it to get away a little bit. But yeah, after the first couple of laps, it's fine. It's a great fun track, to be honest. It's there's enough chaos with this many TCRs on the track to begin with, and then you put the kind of track like that in, which is a chaotic track, and you're gonna get double chaos really. So it was surprisingly clean. I know there's been some instances up and down the field, but surprisingly, I think it was a pretty clear race for most people there, which was pretty good going. I think, a lot of respect.
Yeah, from what we see, there was not really anything naughty going on, just more unfortunate than anything. But let's talk about your win. Wobbly kneecaps should have been on pole, but picked up his 17th incident point on a last corner pass on Adam Wright, which gave Adam pole position for race 3. And then people just kept falling by the wayside. And ultimately, when you got past Adam, it looked very, very easy. Was that a multi-21 by any chance?
And not really a multi-21, but he certainly didn't make it hard. He knew that I don't think he'd had as much practice, so he knew that he wasn't quite as fast in the last corner. So he said, I'll probably be braking a bit early. So I said, if I had a run, I'd probably send it. And well down the straight, I said, I'll have a go this time, and I did, and we made it stick. And then just made sure he sticks in the draft so that he could stay ahead of Jess. I was obviously trying to get away, but he was still driving really quick. Although his entry to the last turn there was a little slower, his exit was still really good because of it. So we kept the pace up and just made sure we got the 1-2 for the team.
Yeah, and obviously the third member of the team's a bit of a letdown for you.
That's okay. Only the top 2 scorers count towards the team. So that's what we bring him along for.
But it puts the pressure on you guys every week, doesn't it?
No, like last week, it was me who was nowhere. I just didn't put the fuel in, then got mired in the midfield for the rest of the 3 races. And it can happen to anyone any week. Like obviously Pete had a few incidents last week as well, but it happens. It's the nature of this car in this kind of race, and yeah, just trying to keep it clean is the aim of the game. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. So that's what you have the 2 out of 3 scorers for.
And Phoenix Road Course next week. Have you ever been there before? Have you? Are you looking forward to it?
I don't think I've ever driven it. I've done the Phoenix Rallycross. That's good fun. Let's do that one.
Well, according to Tyler, that's 90% of the road course.
Oh, well, that's fine then. I've done it. But I've not done any racing laps on the road, whatever it is. But it'll be. Then again, I've never done a lot of the tracks that we're going to be coming to. So like the certain layouts of them. So it's going to be a learning exercise this season.
Excellent. Well, before we let you go, Gary, any shout outs you want to give tonight?
Yeah, to you guys for the broadcasters ever. Looking forward to watching that back because I know these races are action packed. I'm sure Sam's exhausted now, as are you guys. And again, well done to the team, not just Green. I think everyone's having a bit of a blast in there, and yeah, everyone else who's racing and watching, and the sponsors.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your 2 9th place finishes and your win in race 3, Gary Craig.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay, next up for you, Tyler, let's bring in Scott Malcolm. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, Scott. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi. How you doing?
We're doing all right, Scott. It was I have to say, a pretty solid effort from you overall today. 8th place in race 3, 13th in race 2, and 13th in race 1. So pretty consistent and moving forward, which is good. Obviously, you definitely had some paces. It seemed like pretty much everyone did. It was lots of big packs there, and certainly you were definitely in some packs all the way through. Did you have fun out there?
I always have fun. It's one of these hardest. I would say it's one of the hardest tracks in iRacing to pass people on. But I tried about 3 different setups in each race, and I just couldn't find a decent setup to get me going.
That's an interesting strategy, but I have to say pretty impressive if you were running 3 different setups and continued to improve. That's pretty good. I'm trying to remember if we saw you have any door banging, which I'd be surprised if you didn't, because most people did. Do you have any run-ins with anybody out there, or did you keep it pretty clean?
Did a wee bit of running with wobbly, but that was all sorted out after race 2, I think it was. But that was all sorted, and everyone's fine with that. Apart from that, there was nothing. I seen a lot of carnage. Well, I wouldn't say carnage, but a lot of bumps and bangs and people that I wouldn't expect to go off crashing out, and that's how I made places up in the 3rd race.
Yeah, it was. There was certainly some bumping and banging, and of course, I forgot about your incident with Wobbly, but you don't need to worry because any incident with him is his fault. So you're in good shape there. But next up is the Phoenix Road Course. Any laps turned around there yet?
No. That should just be kept to NASCAR, that track.
Well, it's not going to be. So best of luck. It's going to be. I think it's going to be interesting for sure. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, obviously, you guys for organising this. Result Clothing, all the sponsors, all the drivers, and good luck to Denmark on Wednesday night.
Very good. Well, thanks so much for joining us in the booth, and we'll see you next time. Scott Malcolm.
Right, no bother. See you later.
Okay, so Scott Malcolm there. Let's bring in Mr. Sam Blees next. Welcome to the booth. Don't know if we're going to get you because of is your Klingon cloaking device still on?
Apparently it might be, yeah. So
that was a bit better.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully you might.
So, Sam, couple of fifth places and a third place. Some solid points for you tonight.
Yeah, it was a unspectacular but solid event. I think I got a couple of fastest laps as well in race 2 and 3, so that will help. And just tried to keep the incidents to a minimum. Tried to keep my points as high as I can.
Yeah, and all that whilst you was blinking in and out of the race for everybody.
Yeah, I've just been being told how annoying that was for everyone, so I do apologise to anyone that affected. I couldn't tell anything. I did try a reboot between race 2 and 3, but obviously unsuccessfully. So yeah, apologies to anyone who was disadvantaged by that. Was not
well. It happens, mate. It happens.
It does.
Yeah, I think it's happened to all of us. But some absolutely fantastic racing from yourself tonight. We see you in the thick of a hell of a lot of battles. Although you said, it was, I can't remember the word you said now, but you must have enjoyed yourself out there.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was close racing, and there was no, nothing from my side dodgy going on, obviously. For everyone else, I was blinking around a bit, so that probably made it a bit more difficult to pass me. But yeah, no, there was some really good battles and some really close racing in race 2 and 3 in particular. Race 1 was a bit sort of, I was just defending all race. But yeah, no, it was really good fun. Enjoyed myself.
And some good, not only just good points for you, but some good points for the team with Spencer getting a couple of very decent results in the first 2 races.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was able to beat Damien in race 2 and obviously finished just behind him in race 1. And I think he got the fastest lap there as well. And he had pole points as well. So yeah, I think as a team we've done well. I think hopefully in a strong position moving forward.
Excellent. And quick word on next week, Phoenix Road Course. Any idea where it is?
I don't think I own that track.
You do. So, it's a freebie.
Oh, is it? Okay, right. I've never driven it, but it'll be a laugh. I tend to quite like the Roval stuff. I don't know how big a track that is, but yeah, I'll put in some time to learn it ahead of next round in a week or two's time.
Excellent. Well, any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
No, I think I'm all good. Just cheers to everyone for the racing again. Sorry for anyone who was annoyed and irritated and held up by my blinking. I will make sure I can sort something before next race.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your strong performance in all 3 races tonight, Sam Blees.
Cheers. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, next up for you, Tyler. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend that is Jamie Wilson.
Oh, that's mistaken identity.
Well, Jamie, it was you're another one of the drivers who moved forward with each finish, which is good. A 7th, a 6th, and a 4th in race number 3. So a solid effort to well, I guess keep yourself out of trouble is really the key for that, isn't it? Around here, that's where a lot of those positions came from.
Yeah, it's obviously very difficult to pass around here, which I'm sure everyone has said. I suppose the method of passing someone around here is just to apply more and more pressure and see if they can soak it up, and then hope you don't get caught out in it. So yeah, it was a little bit of a case of trying to kind of keep myself to a point, not do anything too risky. I knew I could trust Chris ahead of me in a couple of those races to, not make a huge mistake or something like that. And I wasn't about to do a 50% move on him or anything like that. And yeah, that's the way, I suppose, in that context, you get, decent points finishes out of it.
Yeah, certainly a good, trying to just look at the average finishes, and I think yours might be near the top, considering the trouble for both of the front runners in races 1 and 2 come race 3. But so definitely a standout performance, and probably helped significantly your team points haul for Team Chimera, as I think either Simon or Ben ran into trouble in most of the races, and also seemed to struggle on the starts of it. I don't know what your secret is that you're not sharing with them, but it seemed like you were able to get some better starts off the line than your compatriots.
I think that was a mixture of looking at a few of the starts that others had done, and then both Simon and Ben tried to change their approach a little bit to try and kind of match that, and it backfired on them. I just kind of did my standard boring start. There wasn't anything special in each occasion. Ben's in race 2 was particularly awful. He got a bit of an earful for that. It's the second time from behind him and had to panic immediately off the line. But it's unfortunate that obviously race 3 ended up in both of them, not finishing. So as much as it might be a decent result overall for team points and that kind of thing, it's a shame it wasn't three car finishes. And some of those incidents were pretty unfortunate. I mean, Ben's in particular with Carl. Carl at that point is a passenger. There's nothing anyone could do about it. Just wrong place, wrong time. So that that's a bit disappointing. But overall, as sort of individual performances go, we're kind of up there or thereabouts. We obviously had the big wall in the way of Sam Blees and his Thunderbird 2 deciding whether it would lift off or not all the time, which you wouldn't have seen in quite as much detail on the broadcast necessarily as we saw in sim because of the way the replay system works. But that was exciting in a sweary kind of way. It's not Sam's fault. We've had a discussion about it, but that kind of dampened any kind of forward momentum that we had in the first race or anything like that. There was no way we're going to catch Damien and Spencer with the Great Wall of Home Plug in the way. So, but we're save for that. We're up thereabouts. We're able to fight people. I was glad to get ahead of Sam again in that last race and hold him at bay on pace. So, looking forward to the next one, which features the hardest corner of the entire calendar.
Now, which corner is that? Is that the one where it turns back onto the track, or
No, Phoenix Turn 1. I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've done, as part of the calendar type stuff at the front end of this, I basically did a lap of the season, and that stands out by far and above to be the most difficult corner in the whole calendar. So that's gonna catch quite a few people out, I think. Not one hunted with little practice time, I think.
Well, that we certainly know there are some drivers who don't do the practice, so that'll be interesting. But Jamie, you're one of the drivers who does both this and the Wednesday League. Which obviously you have a hand in organizing this league as well, so you might be a little biased. But do you have a format that you're more partial towards between the two?
This is a predictable answer. They both kind of stand on their own 2 feet in their own separate areas. The GT4 TCR obviously being an hour-long race, there's a lot more strategy, not just in terms of fuel strategy, but also just how you race people. It's different. You have time to play with. You can manage tyres and that kind of thing. Across, obviously, that's both classes. I've raced in TCR class there for some time before I switched to GT4. This is quite a bit more frenetic, fast-paced, 3 races in quick succession. If something goes wrong, then, regroup in 15 minutes, you'll have another go at it. They kind of stand alone as on their own merits. That's why they can coexist. And yeah, and obviously the V8 is the third one that I do, which again, because of just how different those cars are, that stands on its own 2 feet as well. So, Bstv have a wide range of things that may appear similar at first glance, but actually the culture within each one is quite different.
Certainly. Yeah. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Simon and Ben, obviously. I said it last time. Like I'm super happy that they're joining me in this. A bunch of these leagues, I end up just being the sole representative eventually. So it's nice to have 2 teammates that we're working with. There was a bit of team strategy in that first race where, not team orders is the wrong phrase, but there was a situation in which Simon had a better opportunity than I did, and so I facilitated that, and that kind of thing. And that's all stuff that in GT4 TCR in the past, for example, we haven't been in there, so we haven't had opportunities to work like that and think like that, and that's quite nice to be doing. So thankful for them, thankful for you guys for putting the broadcast on as always, and yeah, the rest of the field result and everyone, yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, Jamie, and congratulations on your... Oh, you didn't have a podium. Good job on your solid finishes today. Sorry about that. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Okay, so next up, let's bring in Bstv Esports Green driver, Adam Wright. Welcome to the booth.
Hi, how you doing?
Not too bad. So 14th, 12th, and then a second. You must like these reverse grids.
They're a lovely thing. I think we should do them every time I'm in 12th.
And on that, I presume that you was kicking yourself at the end of race 2 because you thought you'd thrown it away and given the pole position.
No, thankfully I knew Wobbly was close to his penalty limit, and I was quite surprised he sent it, to be fair. But yeah, it was all right.
Okay, and then you got yourself into a little bit of a lead, which was never ever going to last with the quality of drivers behind you. And ultimately, it looked like once Gary went for it, you decided that second is better than being in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think I tried to build a lead, but you can't. Well, I can't in these cars. And once Gary said he had a run, I was like, just send it, because if I fought Gary, there's only one thing that's going to happen, and that was Jess, and I think Ben was behind Jess, and they're all going to get involved. And then as a team, we'd have had a shit result. So let him go. He didn't pull away, which is good and bad in a way, I suppose. But yeah, it was a good race.
And then at the end of that race 3, obviously, Jess Myers had a fantastic night tonight. She was putting you under pressure, but just managing to keep in Gary's toe just kept her at bay.
Yeah, I was quite happy that I was keeping up with Gary in the toe. I knew where Gary was beating me. Well, certainly knew where I was slower than him. So I learned a little bit from him, following him. But yeah, I think Jess probably wanted a good result as well. So that's why she probably didn't send it on me.
But you're doing well, mate. Considering is this the first time for you in the front wheel drives?
Yeah, I started racing the Kia in another league as well, kind of to help with this. I've never driven front wheel drive before, and it's every time I jump back in it, it's completely alien to me again. So I have to turn laps and just get into a rhythm. So yeah, I'm still learning. I can't find those extra 2/10 to get myself further up the grid. So that's why race 1 and 2 are always a nightmare. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll click eventually, mate. So before we let you go, any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, to all the guys in Bstv, it's a great team. They're all in the chat, so all helping each other out. And the result boys for sponsoring this league, because this is something I've been looking for ages, just for the racing alone. It's great fun.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your second place in race 3, and congratulations for finishing in race 2 and race 1 as well. Adam,
Cheers.
Wright.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, Tyler, last but not least, we have for you Mr. Dan Guidici himself.
Hello.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, how are you doing, guys?
Not too bad. Probably not the night you were hoping for today, with a 16th, a 16th, and a 15th, and we saw you in incidents in race 1, and then you were caught up in Spencer's incident in race 3, right?
Yeah, I was. But what can I say? I just jumped into the simulator 10 minutes in the practice, and P16, P16, P15 is a great result for me in that situation. Well, so happy with that. And the team had a really, really good night, so that's the most important bit.
Yeah, a couple of, a win for Adam and some, or a win for Gary and a podium for Adam, so definitely was a good showing. But yeah, it's I know it was quite the effort to get you just signed up to the race. Had you driven, had you practiced at all before today, or was it just arrive and drive?
No, it was an arrive and drive because finally, after 9 months, I was able to see my fiance. She was able to come over to the country. So practice was basically out of the window for that week. Apologies, priorities. Plus, work is not one of the best moments at the moment now, but we are all bracing and fearing for what is coming, if it's coming. So practice, it was cut off as a time. So as I said, we're doing it for the fun, trying to have a really good run with the guys. And honestly, the chat between me, Pete, Gary, Adam, and Jay and Chris is absolutely the top in these situations. That's why we're in for the race.
Yeah, I've been in those chats, and they definitely add to the enjoyment factor. I'm sure Clyde would tell you to get your priorities straight, but I think you're very justified in your reasoning for the arrive and drive. Frankly,
I do apologize, boss. Next time I'm going to be better.
I have to say I'm impressed you turned up at all, but
I shall have words with your fiance.
Apologies. I do apologize for that, but that's the only time it's happening. I promise.
Well, Dan, besides your fiance, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Of course, to you guys for the amazing broadcast. It's always a pleasure to review it after the race and listen to all the things we were able to provide you guys. And the team, because it's always a pleasure running with you guys and all the laughter we're having, the sponsors. And what can I say? Stacy, my surname, you can say it judges if you want. That's the translation in Italian. That's going to be easier. Gucci, no, please. No, please, no Gucci. No, that's too many people have done that. But done judges is fine for me. Try to simplify your life.
Well, thanks so much for joining us in the booth, and glad you had fun out there today. We'll see you next time, Dan Giudici.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for the broadcast.
Okay, guys, that's the interviews over. So, it's time to put you guys on the spot. So, let's start with Sam, because he's usually totally unprepared. Who is your driver of the meeting, Sam?
Stefan. First top 10 in the TCRs. We know he's not used to it, so there's a lot of good drivers there, but I think that most of them finished in the place they deserved. But Stefan did a great job.
Okay, so a vote for Stefan Goebel from Sam. And Tyler, as you're standing in for Bill, who was your driver of the meeting?
I forgot we did this in this series, so I wasn't prepared. Can you get Stacy's and then come back to me?
Here we go. Right, come on, Stacy.
I'm still toying between two. I don't know. That's what.
Right, okay. Well, as I've made my mind up, I shall go next then. You lot are terrible. I don't know. Right, well, 3 absolutely fantastic race wins tonight from 3 different drivers, but I don't pick winners. The driver that stood out for me most of all tonight was Jess Myers. She had 3 fantastic results. I'm desperate to get her in for an interview, but she keeps ignoring me. But I think there is a win round the corner for Jess, and for tonight's showing, that's who's getting my vote.
Well, I had settled on Jess so as not to be accused of bias, because the other driver that stood out to me was Adam Wright. I thought he did a really excellent job in race number 3. Kind of would have been easy for him to get swallowed up by the pack, but kept it clean and kept right on Gary through there. So if you're going with Jess, I'm going to give mine to Adam.
Okay, so 1 for Adam Wright. So come on, Stacey.
It looks like that Jess would have potentially got 3 votes now, but because Jess has already got one, I'm going to go for my second. Jess, absolute awesome race, but I'm going to give this one to Cole Hardy this week. Reason being is he's showing absolutely fantastic pace out there. 3rd race, he was doing so well. Unfortunate incident where he did actually lose his 3rd place. But I think if he didn't have that incident, I think he would have kept it there.
Well, I think good choices from all of us tonight. Actually, again, I after the last time out, I wasn't quite sure what we was going to see tonight, but I think we're starting to see the drivers calming down and realising that only 99 times out of 100 you can win it in turn 1. So yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and in 2 weeks' time, obviously, we are at the Phoenix Road course, which is going to be absolutely amazing, or maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. Coming up for you in the next 7 days. Now then, we are currently having a vote in the GT4TCR Discord about whether we race or not this Wednesday. Obviously, there's a lot of English drivers in, and there's a big football match going on Wednesday night, so we're not quite sure whether we'll be broadcasting on Wednesday night, but if we are, it will be from the Chicago Street Circuit. And then next Sunday, we're back in GTCC action with round 8 from Phillip Island. So leaves me to say thanks to all the drivers that turned up. Thanks to Tyler, thanks to Stacey, thanks to Sam for joining me in the booth. Thanks to Result, our main sponsor, and also Team Chimera, Chris Shaw Designs and Hexil Chemicals for their backing in this series. Thanks to everybody that joins in on the chat. As I always say, make sure you drop this video a like, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also make sure you follow us on Facebook, and then you will never miss any of the action. So it's time for us to close the broadcast. I shall say good night. Wish all my American friends, including Tyler, a happy 4th of July. And good night to everybody. Stay safe. Let the guys say good night, and then we'll close. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
And good night, everybody.